the meeting to order despite the room being empty.
Oh, thank you.
We're here. We're here.
Not of you, start. We have more visitors than ever, but empty of us. So I managed to not find my minutes, so so public comments.
I'd like to introduce to the board Eaden Marti. He's agreed to come along and help me with the project that I have of taping meetings for open meeting, and I appreciate that. But as well, he's a junior firefighter on our fire department, and when I called him tonight because he had asked to join me, he told me that earlier today he was at a swimming pool where a 6-year-old boy drowned and had no pulse. Eaden gave him CPR and brought the boy back to life.
Oh,
Wow.
Nice work.
that's
So
great.
Good job.
you've got a 6-year-old boy that's got a life ahead of him because another young man took the reins and did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Based on some training and the mindset that we're very psyched our junior firefighters do what they do.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
that's thanks from all of us.
Yes, thank you.
And I had one other public comment. This is actually, it's a very lousy picture of a fully involved car fire from last week. And I would also like to impress upon you that the gear that you bought me was very, very much a part of keeping me safe. But in addition to that, my chief was right behind me, and another member of my fire department was right there, and we put that fire down quick
Was that
and
on,
safely.
on the Gulf?
No, that was down on Apple Road.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, which road was that?
Patricia, it's Bill Lyman and...
Yeah, I can tell.
Okay, I'm just passing around a picture of a car fire from last week that the department successfully put down.
Uh-huh.
As well as Eaden Marti, one of our junior firefighters, actually saved a young boy's life today doing CPR at a pool.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Isn't that a wonderful thing for him to be able to do?
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for allowing me to comment.
Get that in front of the chairman, if you would. The talking stick, we have Patricia.
Have something
Hello,
to
Pat.
bring up, should I bring it
On open
Public
public?
comment?
Public comment.
Yeah.
Any other public comments?
yes.
Yes.
Around this.
Yesterday, a 6-year-old girl got bit by a snake at Moore's Pond swimming. It's apparently about a 3-foot black snake. And her, as far as I know, she's fine. I haven't heard any different. But I did want to know if there was something we could do to, or the town could do to check into that.
I'm not talking this.
We need to pass the phone to whoever's speaking.
Right.
So, okay, you want me to say again?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yesterday, a 6-year-old girl got bit by a snake at Moore's Pond while swimming. The snake actually went after her, went past another person and went right for her and bit her on the foot. I believe she's fine, but I was wondering if the town could do something about monitoring the pond, or maybe have environmental police look into it.
Was it a venomous snake?
I don't believe
No,
it was
it's
venomous.
It was a
It
black snake, and
big-
I talked to a couple of people, and they said before you even got there, the snake was all the way across the pond to, they think it lives in that boathouse, that abandoned boathouse. So we were hoping Bob Hubbard would get out there with his snake extermination tools, but I haven't heard
Yeah.
any more.
Shotgun, huh?
Well, I know he's the one that usually takes care of.
Okay.
I won't be swimming soon in there.
No,
But somebody else thought that the snake had babies close to the waterfall.
no. Yeah.
I don't think it works that way with snakes. I
No.
think they're indifferent parents.
Oh,
I
okay.
think there is no maternal instinct in a snake.
No.
I think they'll eat their own, frankly.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
nice. Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's all I know.
So the only likely after
Patricia, did you hear?
it was a black snake
Yes.
Yes.
nest in the boathouse.
It swam across the pond from the beach over, there's like an abandoned boathouse over near Valentine's Beach. And
Well, if it's black snakes, and I think the only thing we have to worry about is did she get an infection from the bite?
I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, we don't know. She
Yeah, I
went in the
understand.
ambulance.
I just that I'm not terribly worried. At this point, I hope I don't need to get worried.
Well, I don't
That's
think
true.
we have anything to worry about. I just was curious if there was a way to maybe monitor it or at least have somebody look into it. That's all.
I think Bob will look into it,
Yeah.
but you can't I mean, it might be there
Right,
one day, it
yeah.
might be on the other side
Sure.
another
You
day.
have to have a license for that, because it's
If the
wild.
environmental police
Yeah.
are involved, maybe
That's the
we should
state.
ask them to
What?
let us know what they think.
That environmental police, she said.
Oh,
Were you able, Patricia, to hear about the good works of one of our junior firefighters today?
It did, I was very pleased to hear about it. And I trust that it has been reported to the two local newspapers as well as to the warwickma.org site.
I agree about that. Has anybody talked to the press?
Well, we got two
You get
members
the
here.
press.
Talking to him now.
That's true. We've got her here.
We've got the
And-
recorder here too.
The
Yep.
reporter.
There's your
That
man.
fella down there.
The one sitting in the only comfortable chair in the room.
you can sit at the
Uh-huh,
table.
it's true.
Look at Cushy.
Okay, I'm going to put the phone down for just a second. So I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Minutes of previous meetings. Are there?
Motion to accept minutes of the meetings of July 21st.
And I didn't have a packet, so I at least want to look at these.
You had a
Very
packet when you
briefly.
left my office on Thursday, remember? I made you one.
You took it home already, didn't
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Because you looked at, you wanted to know,
Back.
you wanted to refer back to see which items you had requested in that meeting be on this agenda before you finish this agenda.
That's right. It looks okay anyway.
Do I hear a second?
So I second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Could you
I
repeat?
second the motion.
To accept the minutes of the meeting of July 21st.
Okay.
All in favor? Oh, you're supposed to say.
That's all right. It's all right.
All in
If
favor?
I'm out of it, I get to deputize you.
Aye. Did you say aye?
Aye. I said aye.
Okay. There you go.
Okay. Section 268.21 exemptions. Any?
Yes.
Yeah. This was supposed to print 4 copies, it printed 1. This is a draft motion, I know you have problems with these, but I was speaking with the town clerk about another matter and she had to call me back and of course she got the voicemail for animal control. So she said, why does that say animal control, you're town clerk? And I said, I'm both, and she said, is that appointed? And I said, yes, and she said, call the ethics commission because there's certain things about elected town clerks and appointed positions. So I spoke with one of the attorneys there, and she suggested, and I told her we've done the special municipal employees and the exemptions and all that already. And she said that this would be a good idea to have a select board vote that I, with my name as the elected town clerk, is also allowed to hold the following appointed and compensated positions and list them and the compensation that I receive for the year. So that's what that looks like.
Okay, do you
It's
have?
apparently something to do with Mass General Law that is for town clerks.
All I'm
That
asking
must be
is,
it.
you
That's
have
what she
a
told me.
proposal.
Well, this is a draft motion and I'll move it. I move that the select board allow Rosa Fratangelo, our elected town clerk, to also hold the following appointed and compensated positions. Animal control officer at an annual stipend of $1,639. Inspector of animals at an annual stipend of $500. Town secretary at $13.65 per hour, not to exceed $2,598 for fiscal year 15.
I second the motion.
You seconded the motion?
Yes.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And then I already have the form, I have to fill it out, and then it gets filed in the town clerk's office with me. But this way, it's also, I'll put a copy of the once the minutes are approved, put it all together. So she just said it was an extra thing, it had to do with a certain section of Mass General Law specific to town clerks.
Well, I could make an objection to the whole thing on the basis that
It is raining.
you have 3 jobs through the town and they don't total minimum wage. At 40.
They're not designed to.
They don't,
They're
Yeah,
stipends,
they don't
actually.
care.
No,
They don't care.
no, any compensation whatsoever, even $1, that's money. They just want it all.
So that is a new one on me, and like you say, town clerk only. If any other position, if somebody holds appointed office and they are elected, the sole requirement is they file under Chapter 268, Section C with the town clerk, disclosure, no permission involved, but they have to disclose to the town clerk. But stick around, you learn something new every day.
Whatever it is we're supposed to do, we've done it. Special town meeting, PVRS district appropriation.
Do you list number 4, do we have any?
What?
Presentations and discussions?
It's part 4, 1 through.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I
It's okay.
typed that one up, my outlines aren't.
It's neat, it's fine. PVRS district appropriation and possible reconsideration. I have the feeling we don't have adequate information and we should pass it over for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think it might be just dead on
I
arrival.
agree with you. I think it's far too soon to be calling a meeting.
So we're discussing the PVRS district's appropriation. My understanding, from lack of anything else in the newspaper, is that the recount resulted in the passage of the Northfield override, notwithstanding allegations of impropriety, and that the override passed. That gives them 3 towns in the affirmative, Warwick being one of them, and I think this race has been run.
I think you're probably right about that.
If anything else crops up before the next meeting, I'll put it on the agenda, but I think that they have their 3 towns and out of 4, and
I think you're
Many
right.
people are upset about it and not they will start giving it to us for discussion.
Okay, green communities. What? Green communities is on the agenda. Anybody?
I guess the main thing would be the status of the planning board zoning article.
It's complete except for hearings.
So it sounds like we're on target.
We seem to be, yes. I said it's, the zoning bylaw for green communities is complete, except for hearings, and we're setting up the hearings, so we're on target. Report on the WCS roof project. You've given us nothing but good news so far, so have you got some bad news?
No, no bad news, fortunately.
Yay.
Bill Lyman has been my eyes on the ground. I was out of state last week, and the project has progressed. Survived an outburst of rain today rather nicely. They tarped it and got the underlayment, which is a rubberized adhesive, a rubberized material that adheres to the roof and could actually be used for a roof for a year if you were crazy. I went by there on my way to work today, and this is what it looked like. You can see in the forefront a new roof, which is gray. The old roof has been stripped off, down, much of it down to the plywood. So they're still working on the front side. We're within budget to the extent that we are able to address the gymnasium's insulation and air sealing deficiencies. So they're out there every day. The weather holds. The tedious part's going. Hit the back arrow at the bottom.
This one?
Yeah. Hit it again.
David,
Yes.
at the Burlington Energy Committee inspected it all.
Well, they've been all over us. Like pick your own metaphor.
Yeah.
They're well involved. They're mostly involved with the concept and design and getting agreement on the gymnasium roof. The other one's really not rocket science. We did go with completely stripping the roof down to the plywood, found the plywood in very good shape, and are now doing a Cadillac roof on top of it as if it was new construction.
Well, I figured they probably been right on top of it. I just wanted it in a minute. Okay?
So the questions have had to do with treatment of the intersection of the gymnasium walls with the roof, which involve 1.5 inches of a shredded composite material that air blows through like a hurricane if the wind's blowing. And Bill's been working on a solution to seal that from the inside by injecting some sort of latex compound, and we're working with the contractor on that to address it from the outside of the building. Either one would probably be sufficient, but I'm leaning toward sealing it up both sides. We're going to want to get the contractor's going to want us to get an engineer or architect to stamp what we do, just as belts and suspenders, and it's not structural, but we're sick of blowing hot air out into the world.
I should think so.
The old roof's coming off, the old plywood's coming off, the airspace is coming off. We're getting down to the oriented strand board that's attached to the 6-inch structural foam panels. At that point, we're taping all those seams with some Vicon tape, which is what the Building and Energy Committee has agreed is a good idea. At that point, we are gluing and edge gluing and nailing 1/2-inch plywood to the OSB, because everybody hates OSB. If you try to put a screw in it, you might just strip it, and we want to make sure that the additional 3 inches of insulation and the plywood that we're going to nail to stays on the roof. So now we'll have 1 inch of composite material to use deck screws into, and so after that layer gets glued and nailed, then 3 inches of foam gets screwed to it. That foam gets taped, then plywood gets put on top of that and deck screwed through to the now 1-inch composite deck underneath. Then we put down a synthetic roofing underlayment and the shingles. And then when we're done with that, we've also foamed any cracks we found in the existing material. Then we go to look at the the eaves, because we've now got a roof that's not 6 inches tall anymore, but more like 11 and a half, and so we'll have to rework the trim, so I would characterize the roof as a very affordable Cadillac roof for about $105,000, done right. And then,
Sounds to me like it's been done excellently.
then we're going to spend most of the rest of the money dealing with the gymnasium, which has had the equivalent of a 3-foot hole in the roof and 140 feet by 1.5 inches of something with the integrity of, say, steel wool in terms of wind blowing through it.
Yeah,
By the time we do all that, I think we'll save, the district's going to save a lot of energy.
I think so. Listen, my head is getting numb at this point, so I'm going to slow down and wait a second and think that a little bit. I'll let you know when I'm back.
Okay.
Okay?
My lips are getting numb.
Okay.
Good job, Bill. That's not
Sounds like a
easy.
good job done efficiently and cheaply, and I like that very much. And Bill, thank you.
You're welcome. Happy to.
Next is Seaboard Solar contract execution. It's my understanding it's with council.
Yes. And just to remind you, we have so many energy contracts in our in-basket. We have the Hampshire COG aggregation supply contract, which sees all kinds of back and forth with the attorney. We're talking Hampshire, actually we're talking Seaboard, and I'm just explaining all the solar projects. So we got the Hampshire thing. We got our, remember Pequog Power, where we're buying electricity from a solar farm in Athol to power town buildings. That one's the second one. It's not going well at all. The guys that financed them bought them and are shirking on the contract. The Athol Hospital, the Athol Y, the town of Petersham, we're all more or less in the same boat. The attorney, or the former attorney for Soltas, who bought Pequod, Altus, I'm meeting with them on Thursday. We have, if we want to claim damages, we've got an affirmative responsibility to try to mitigate damages. So,
We do,
which means
have
that
been any discussion with MBI about it?
they aren't in the picture at all. This would be a DOER if we want to
I see.
flex muscle at the state level. And I think I've already gone at least far enough on that.
Asking for their advice on it.
The CEO of Soltas told me if I threaten him once more, we're never talking again. So I'm being more careful. So anyway,
I'm not suggesting you threaten him, but just ask DOER what their take on it is.
I have. Their take is we have a problem.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we might someday do is ask the Attorney General to look at Soltis's business practices, because I don't think it's legal to sell power to the city of Lowell that's already under contract to the town of Warwick.
I think you're right.
And I think that's a vulnerability for them. But what I was trying to say is that in these litigation matters and you're claiming damages, you have a responsibility to mitigate your damages, not try to pile them up and make them bigger. So I'm meeting with Altus, another company that might be able to pick up the contract by its terms, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, now, Seaboard Solar, those are the guys
Before you
where...
go on,
Yeah.
briefly, the problem with the contract is they've sold more power than they have.
Yeah, they sold the power that was pledged to us to another city.
Got it.
It's that simple. And then in trying to track the progress in public utilities filings of our friends with the pipeline, I ran across a bunch of back and forth between the Department of Public Utilities and Soltas where Soltus had lost the ability on another of their projects where they filed late. And filing late was like one of the explicit things that you can't get out of. Like calendar starts over, go to the back of the line. So their situation in terms of coming up with power just got worse with that one. So anyway, we're talking Seaboard Solar. We had that summertime special town meeting 2 years ago. Successfully convinced the town that just this once, if it's too good to be true, it still might be true. So this is the one where we're putting our name, Town of Warwick, as net meter host on 10 megawatts. Does that sound right? The most that we can as a municipality, and we're going to get, they bring these projects in, we're going to get paid 0.5 cents a kilowatt hour generated. They didn't reach the finish line in time under the original 2% cap that the Mass Legislature told the incumbent electric companies that they had to have for green power under their municipal cap, another percentage under commercial, another one under residential. Basically said you have to buy these guys power. And there was no like filing and getting your spot reserved. It was a mad dash to the finish line, and you had to bring your project on, hooked up to the grid, and that's the day you got your allotment. Well, they failed to bring it in. And fortunately for them and us, the legislature increased the cap. So now the project that's underway in West Brookfield, with our name on the meter, can go ahead, but they want a new contract. The only thing I was worried about was their original contract 2 years ago. Our council found where it said in it that we would buy all the power they couldn't sell. Now that's entirely unacceptable.
Absolutely wrong.
Yeah, and we got it out of there. So when we got the cover letter on the new contract, it said, this is the same as in all the other 4 towns. It's been reviewed by Copeland Page, blah, blah, blah. Well, Copeland Page were the ones that left that clause in that other contract.
Yeah,
So
that doesn't give you a lot of confidence.
yeah, but apparently we can have confidence in Seaboard when our attorney pointed out this was in this contract. They went back to Toland and Wendell and New Salem, took it out of their contracts. So Jeremiah is confident that that's not in here. He's got some questions on 2 clauses, and I gave him contact information with the attorney at Copeland Page and with Seaboard, and figure on this at the next meeting. And I really think that his concerns, and I told him this and he pretty much agrees. It's kind of like when you're buying software and it says you click here to agree to our terms that you probably haven't read. But if you don't click them, you don't get the software upgrade. Or you better go find something else and it'll have one of those clauses. So they structure these deals in such a way that they have some use to them in raising money in secondary financial markets. They can't be...
I'm going to have to put the phone down and get to it.
Okay. They can't be, this one's for Warwick, this one's for another town. They have to have a great deal of sameness, but we'll put it off until 2 weeks, and hopefully we can sign it. Questions?
What do we do when we have the intuition that a good deal is with being worked with a slime ball who is never going to comply?
Well, these are 2 different things.
No, but that was my impression of Seaboard.
Oh, yeah. Snake oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the answer is, well, you do it anyway at your own risk.
Yeah, I mean, the capacity that's under construction right now amounts to half of the contract. It's worth, once it comes online, $25,000 to $30,000 a year to Warwick, half of that total contract. So it'll be in our interest that.
All right, have we number 5 yet?
No, we're still talking about Seaboard Solar and our basic impressions of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Any more? I think we're about to move on to 5.
I think we are. Is there anything else on Seaboard?
No.
No. Correspondence, Adam Holloway and possible action. Presently, I'm inclined to set up a meeting with council and to do absolutely nothing else until we've had that meeting. So the only question is, when can we meet with him? I would assume that that Ron should be part of that meeting also. Since
My question is, do we have enough detail yet to actually discuss? It seemed to me that we're much too early in the process to do anything more than just ask the town council to read it and give us whatever he thinks
well,
about it.
I hope that council's advice to us will be, don't do anything at all.
That's what I was thinking.
But I think we should still have that advice. David?
This should have gone to Ron, not to Board of Selectmen, so I'd suggest give it to Ron and make sure Ron has access to the opinion of council. And that's what I'd do. I wouldn't necessarily even make it Selectmen's business.
Okay.
It's fire department business, so, but make sure he's got benefit of council.
Because I don't want to take very much time and I really need to leave the meeting. Okay?
Okay, except the next item on the agenda is Patricia Lemon, ballot measure rate pipeline.
That's what I'm saying. I'd like to go to that.
You'd like to bring that up at the next meeting?
No, she wants us to
Yeah,
get
I'd
through
like
this.
to have that put on the agenda for the next meeting, please.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you. And I'm leaving the meeting officially at 7:30.
Okay,
Okay?
Okay,
Bye.
good night.
we're back to Ron.
Rosa, would you knock that phone?
I think we're back to Ron.
Oh. I didn't even get a copy of the letter that he sent to you. Do you have a copy of it?
That's it.
Oh, this is it?
Oh, wait.
No, that's the Hampshire.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this didn't look like anything to do with fire department.
Yeah.
The minutes will reflect that Ron's reading the letter and we're waiting.
So,
Other
I'll talk to the town council on this. Is that what you're suggesting, David?
That's what I do. I mean, in another matter, the police chief and I and the town have been threatened, I can't remember how many times, that a lawsuit is forming, and it's getting so old that the last time this person said that to me, I said, well, you have our attorney's address and you know where to send it, right? You know, it's
Yeah.
not a lawsuit until it's a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not a need for any anyways. I acted well within my rights of authority, so I'm not worried.
Yeah, what I'd like to see you do is talk
But
to
I-
council,
Yes, sir.
and based on that, you know, write some kind of memorandum that you put in your file so that when
Mhm.
time rolls down the road, you'll have something to document and, you know, where you were at the time and what was going on.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I would just leave it at that.
Okay.
I would do nothing whatsoever except after talking with council.
Okay, sure.
Okay, Patricia Lemon, we're skipping.
No, Hampshire Cobb.
I'm sorry, that's right. I put that on the agenda just because it's a request from a substantial governmental entity and we probably shouldn't just shine them on. We may even want to send somebody to it. My inclination would be to ask them if we can participate, but do so remotely or by email. Because we have so little manpower that can be sent out hither and yon. Yeah, it's an important issue they're raising, which is to coordinate the legislative activity of all the jurisdictions within the area.
I would be willing to go to that,
You would be willing to go to it?
yeah.
Super.
But I also would like to talk to FERCog
Yeah,
and get their reading on it, and I think that's our first allegiance. And depending.
yeah, you know, the two cogs, sense of mission and competency are very different. Our Franklin cog is not in a big way involved in energy issues. Hampshire cog is. Hampshire cog is our insurer for health insurance, or they administer our plan. I'm sure they buy reinsurance, but they're our Blue Cross plan, and they beat the pants off of the state system. Our FERCog has an exemplary planning department, supports a lot of social service, does a lot of things, but we've got to be working together, and nobody should feel like anybody's poaching. Don's in a position to see that being recently promoted.
So why don't you just send them an email saying you will attend on behalf of the town?
Okay.
Good. Select board reports.
I don't have any.
Neither do I, and Patricia is absent on the coordinator report.
I can't think of anything. I had a nice vacation.
You've been on vacation. Can you tell us how it went?
Yeah, I went to Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina for one solid week of Youngs. Only the Youngs do week-long family reunions, and we were still speaking to each other on Friday.
Wow.
Which I thought was pretty good. Usually by
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Sure.
you know, we're starting to look
Any
for
family, yeah.
like day trips. The ocean was still there. My brother's beach house was still there barely. He's on 3rd Street, and 2nd and 1st Street are already in the ocean. So he's now beachfront. So every year it's like, this could be the last time.
Well, it's worth more now that it's beachfront, right? Anywhere else in the
I
world.
think we put $70,000 into sandbags last year.
Wow.
It's a lot of sand pits.
They're expensive. They're like the size of a car.
The firing is good for hot dogs.
Well, anything else from the coordinator?
That's
No, everything's going good. Rosa, thank you for your picking up the slack for me. It's very helpful.
But I
Two
don't see
other
that there's any
items
fire apparatus or any fire people.
not reasonably anticipated prior to posting.
we're there.
Anybody, anything?
Camera shy.
I just had a question about your green communities. You said the zoning bylaw is complete except for something, and I couldn't hear.
Hearings.
Hearings.
Yes.
How
There
ironic.
was a hearing problem, wasn't there?
Seems to be going around this year.
Oh, you
Okay,
get
motion to
over.
adjourn?
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.